It wasn't my fault. I was still here. I was waiting for you to come, but you went somewhere and blamed it on me, but it wasn't me.
That was stressful. Whoop, internet.
Why are you gonna... Right. So I'll have the button next week then.
Yeah, probably better. Take turns. Sorry, everyone. My internet fell over. Thanks, router.
Right. Hello, everybody. Well, welcome to tonight's eModels show with the best 2/3 of the group, apart from Ted. Me and Foxx, because Ted's been busy all day and he's tired and napping probably.
Yeah, Ted was hanging out with royals. I got a text from him saying, "Sorry, I'm too tired to hang out with the little people today." So he's been hanging out with the royals and hobnobbing with the upper echelon. So
he was up very early and busy all day, and he is very old.
Yeah, there is that. So old, very old.
Yeah, very, very old. We won't mention it, but no. So we're back, and we're here, and the internet's working for both of us at the moment. If it does fall over again, we'll be back, and we'll try and be back here. But if not, have a look for part 2.
Yeah, if it does fall over, because I've got the buttons to, I'm pointing there because that's where the red button is on my screen. I've got the button, so if it does fall over, don't go anywhere. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And I'll stay in chat and say hello to you and stuff, but you probably won't be able to see me. But this is why we
can't have nice things.
Yeah. Right. So it's Monday night, so this is the eModels stream. Ted's not here to do his talky bit. We could just sit here quietly while we imagine him doing his talky bit, but it'd be quiet and boring. So you know where we are. You know what we're doing here. If you're not watching on the actual YouTube channel, click the little button. It's that side, isn't it? Down there somewhere, or over one of them sides, to make sure you're actually in the YouTube app and program and stuff. Get the chat, because the chat is where it's at. Oh, it rhymes. We can.
Well, you're a poet and you know it.
We'll use that as a thing. The chat is where it's at.
Yes.
So get in there and join the gang and talk to everybody, and they'll be nice to you and stuff. There's several mods in there tonight I've seen with the little blue spanners, so they'll look after you. And if you cause any trouble, they will kick you out.
Yes,
they probably won't kick you out. They're just
blue spanners will be.
They'll warn you a little bit, but yeah.
They'll warn you a little bit.
They'll warn you a little bit, and then they'll warn you a little bit harder, and then they'll kick you out.
A little bit,
So as I did the introductory talky bit, Foxx is going to do the who's in the chat bit, so I'll let him do that.
Yeah, I wasn't actually listening to anything you said when you were talking. Did you say about using the chat and email and stuff that I usually?
I didn't do the email bit, but did the chat bit.
Okay. Yes, if you can't access the chat to join in the typey chat, then all you need to do, you can send us questions and comments through chat if you're in there. But if you can't get access to it at all, no matter what you do, you can send us an email with your questions or comments or whatever you want to do, any shout outs or anything like that. And the email address, as always, is ted@emodels.co.uk. Not, as some people sometimes think, ted@emodels.co.uk. I've actually had someone contact me say, I can't get through to ted@emodels. Yes, no.
Yeah.
Yes. ted@emodels.co.uk. Send us your questions, comments. If you've got a shout out, if you've got an event in your area, or maybe you're in trouble with someone and you want to maybe suck up to them, we can do that for you. We can put the the honeyed words out there for you. We can't get you out of trouble because we can't even get ourselves out of trouble.
Can I do a quick shout out?
Yeah.
It was my wedding anniversary 2 days ago. No, I remembered. I bought flowers and stuff. It's all good. No, it's fine. It's just that she'll be watching. So, hello.
You didn't get in trouble. I thought you last like
no, that was a not in trouble. That's just a and it is my wife's birthday in 8 days, something like that. A few days time. So yeah, next week I'll do a shout out for that.
Yeah. So happy birthday in 8 days, and also you can't now claim you forgot because you've just admitted 8 days in advance that you remembered it.
I don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody watching perhaps maybe forgot a significant other's birthday, yeah, we can't help you with that. That's a doghouse too big for us to get you out of, I'm afraid. But yes, you can mail us any questions, shout outs, anything like that. Feel absolutely free. Let's have a look and see who is in chat today. We have I don't know who was first in because my chat has since rebooted because I had to reboot everything. So I start off seeing Dad first. Dad's in, one of your mods. Andrew Leary, Phil Kett is in as well. eModels UK, don't know who that is. Sergeant Bones is in, but I don't know where he is. And he does tell us that he was about to eat linguine with clam sauce, I think. It's and that sounds. I don't know what linguine is, but I do now. I didn't know then, and I don't know what clam sauce is, but I need to put all of that in my face. Now I'm really hungry for tagliatelle before the show even started. We have who else came in? Chris at Gross Models. Don't know who that is.
No, nobody important.
No, Ickle Pete says evening all. 30 minutes to go. That was about 30 minutes ago then, I guess. Who else do we have? We have Tiger Tank 2. Greetings, Tiger Tank 2. Michael Jackman is in. Hi, Michael. Stephen Hill Harris. Hello, everybody. He says, hello. Andrew Leary says, in me belly, leg of lamb on the bench, same as last week. A Chieftain Tank, 135th. My new modelling helper is a little slow. We'll get to that in a bit. Wayne Hayward is in. Jamie Bone is in. Welcome to both of you. Zadster is in. Who else do we have? Spiddy Q8's in. Welcome, Spid. He's been out travelling for a while, so nice to see him back. AJ is in. Anders Eriksson. Hello, everyone. Glad to be back. Totally Scale Models is in. And Swigging Pig, evening all, says Swigging Pig. We have Rob Aitken, who says, morning all from a cold New Zealand. G'day, bro. How can it be cold in New Zealand?
It's summer. No, it's just coming into winter, isn't it?
I know, but surely it's always warm in New Zealand because
it might always be sunny, but sometimes it's cold and sunny.
I thought New Zealand was just like everything was perfect in New Zealand.
No, I think that's just the tourist people tell you that.
Is it? Because I thought you kind of just get off the boat and it's like everything is perfect and then just nothing ever. I don't know. Let's have a look. And then people are panicking because the show didn't start.
That was when you broke, yeah.
Yes. Michael Jackman says should have tested it during the week. You can't test broadband going down. So Michael Jackman got my SH3 and SH4 both working at last. SH3, the trouble was the Star Force drop. I don't know what any of that is.
No, I don't know what they are.
I think we're talking about computers.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Paul Di Tommaso is in. Hello, people. What's going on with the stream?
Foxx.
Blame my router. Let's have a look. Paul at Team Inept, one of your mods in and says, who wants me to ban Spiddy? Straight away. Yeah. Let's have a look. Totally Scale Models, part 4 show, a 4-part show. Brian Wimmel's in. Have you put 50p in the meter? Damn, is that what it was? I put 25p in. Phil Lewis thinks Google may have broken the Hangout live stream function. It was a bit funky last week, but this was purely just my broadband fell over. My router fell over, so there you go. Let's have a look. I think that's everybody. Spruglo Addict is in, but he never wins anything.
No.
And I think that's everybody. Philly, Standers Oakson, and Zadster. Yeah, that's everybody. So welcome to all of you. Again, don't forget, if you are watching this and you can't see the live chat, hit the little YouTube icon that's down here. And it should take you to the YouTube page where you can see the chat and join. Do join in because we'll give stickers and things away later on. If you're on a mobile device, you may be looking at the mobile version of the YouTube, which might not have chat. So click on your little menu option thing in the browser that you use and see if it's got an option to load at the desktop version of YouTube. Done. Bye.
All right, that'll be it then. Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, everyone.
Mark Dale says he went to Cosford yesterday. Didn't realise there was a massive model show on. Made for a fantastic day. So yeah, yeah. Is it that you didn't know there was a model show on to your family, but that was why you went to Cosford?
Yeah, you can tell us because this isn't on the internet.
A model show on that I didn't know about.
Yeah. You can tell us because it's just between us. Strictly entre nous. We won't tell anyone.
TK's in. He says he missed me again.
Hey TK.
I don't think you were in. I think you only just come in and yeah. It was actually Brian Windmill that was in first.
Was it?
I noticed he was in first like 6 hours ago or something. Like a minute after you put the stream thing up, he was in there, and someone else, I can't remember who was in second, but I think it might have been Dad that was in second.
I think Dad appeared early as well. Yeah. I didn't remember it was kind of like Dad, and I know Pascal was in there somewhere. Totally Scale Model says, right, need to go as a nurse about to give him antibiotics. Take care, dude.
Yeah, good luck.
Get him to pump you up with all the good stuff. And then everything's brilliant then.
Spruglu's just changed my screen settings from 360p to 720p. Arg. Was that arg in a good way or an arg in a bad way?
I think it's arg because he can see us in a bit less crispy detail now.
Are we?
Or a bit more crispy detail, I don't know.
What are we broadcasting in 1080? Or
should be 1080.
Ooh,
although it's a stream.
Higher. Lower.
A bit higher, lower. Didn't he do well?
Yeah. All right. That's that then. Right. What's in your bench and what's on your belly? No, the other way around. What's on your belly and what's in your bench? That's better. Yeah.
Yes, it's the typical question. What have you had? What if you've not had your dinner yet? What are you going to have for your dinner? Now we know Sergeant Bones is having linguine with clam sauce. Apparently, linguine is a bit like flat spaghetti. So in my mind, it's like tagliatelle, which is the best pasta in the world.
Yeah, the linguine bit's all right. The clam sauce doesn't do anything for me.
I've had clam chowder soup. That's quite nice. So
no, I think I don't like seafood generally. So clams sort of class as seafood, and I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't like seafood at all, but I do like clam chowder. So the soup, I've never had it as a clam sauce.
For some reason, Dad's saying "Oi, Chris." I'm not sure why. What did I do? What?
Who's it? What? Oi, Chris.
I don't know. Oi, me. Yeah, I don't know. I said you were in second. Were you not in second? I thought you were, but if you weren't, I apologise.
Team Minette, Paul at Team Minette says to Rob Aitken, the reaction from your PM and the people of New Zealand generally was proof that you're the nice version of Australia. I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, there was the thingy in New Zealand, weren't there, a couple of weeks back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the troubles.
Yeah, yes.
Mark Dale says, honestly, have a good Mrs. D. We went for his birthday, but he didn't check the website, as they've been a few times. Felt sorry for her, really. Boredom set in swiftly, bless her.
Stephen Robson, evening, gentlemen.
I'm sure she was happy to see your happy smiling face, and that made her happy. So, yeah.
Right, we've got some answers. Stephen Rolfe says lamb. CK. I don't know what CK means, but lamb. Lamb sounds good. Philly says chicken dippers and Star Wars Legion minis. So I assume he's not eating the Star Wars Legion minis, he's making them.
Yeah, I would think that's probably the other way around, yeah.
Yeah. LD says good evening. LD, bench your belly, dude. Ickle Pete is having Toad in the Hole, and he's making a Tamiya Tyrrell P34. Is that the old kit?
I don't know what a P34 is. Is it a plane?
It's a racing car.
It's a car.
I don't know if it's the six-wheeler. But it's an old-style racing car. 70s, I think.
Cool. Osrix 9000 says chicken jalfrezi and spesmarine.
Spesmarines! I was waiting for you to do the next one.
I was reading through to find the next one, but I didn't know. Oh, it's Stephen Rolfe. He corrects himself. He says lamb chops in his belly. Bench, nothing. Work is getting in the way. He's too busy.
I have to admit, I've not had any dinner today because I had some Marmite toast for lunch today. Many toasts were eaten today for my lunch because I was hungry but couldn't be bothered making anything complicated. And then about 3 or 4 o'clock, I had like 3 chocolate digestives because I just needed something to nibble on. And then I thought, well, I've not got time now. I got carried away doing something. I'm not really hungry anyway. I need to lose a bit of the belly, so I'll just pass on dinner because it's fine. And then Mama Fox made a cottage pie, and I'm like, damn, I'm really hungry now.
So then we ask everybody what they're eating because that'll help.
Yeah, because that really helps. What else are people doing? Phil Lewis says Cosford was great yesterday, but my legs are now screaming sticks of burning soreness. This is the downside of being somebody that spends a lot of time at the workbench. You get really unfit. I found that out in my last 7 years of life. I was always skinny as a young man, not anymore.
Yeah, it's strange.
Start doing this.
TK's having a salad.
Ooh. I like a nice salad from time to time.
I don't believe in salads. I think salads are okay as long as you've got lots of meat to go with them, and then you take away the green stuff and put more meat in it.
I tell you what we've started doing. We got a load of like just simple sourdough pizzas, but they're just literally mozzarella and sun-dried tomato. There's nothing else on them. A bit of pesto, and it's like they're nice, but they're boring. So what I did was I got a pack of like Herta Frankfurters, and just like blapped them in the pan for 3 minutes, and then chopped them into little bits and sprinkled them on the top. And then I got 3 spring onions and I chopped them up into little bits and I sprinkled that on the top, and then I bopped it in the oven for 20 minutes, and it was delicious. It was so much better than just mozzarella and tomato. I count that as full cooking. That is proper cooking.
That's proper cooking, yeah. Phil Kett says chicken and bacon pasta salad in his belly. Not much time at the modelling bench this week. Been busy fixing an Amiga 500.
Ooh, I used to have an Amiga 500. Awesome stuff. Every time we ask this bench and belly question, I immediately regret it. What
has happened into your Xbox? Is it fixed?
Oh, yes. Regular viewers may know that I dug out my old original vanilla Xbox because I wanted to play Halo with the original sound effects, and I wanted to dig it out, and I got it all out, and I got it all set up, and I had to buy a new controller because for some reason this dumb person kept everything except the controller. I don't know why. And we opened it up and repaired. We took the capacitor out for the clock and we repaired the band around the DVD drive because that was a bit knackered. Did some repairs, but it just won't read discs now, so it's completely sponged. It's did jump. So I might treat myself to a modded restored Xbox maybe in the coming months. I don't know yet. I might not. I don't need one. It was just on a whim and I hoped it would work, but it didn't. So
yeah. Sprugaroo's changed his screen settings back down to 144p now, so we all look like Ted.
Yeah, it's because it's missing Ted. It's also you can also pretend it's like 2001 or 1998 maybe. What you do is before you press play, spend 30 seconds making high-pitched squealing noises and then press play. It's like having a modem again, isn't it?
Robert Aiken says, I'm having a full 9 breakfast cooked by my lovely partner. Does that mean it's got 9 things in it?
Let's have a thing. What's in a full English breakfast?
Well, you've got to have sausage, bacon, fried bread, beans, probably mushrooms, but I just disagree with them.
You disagree with mushrooms?
I don't know, yeah, mushrooms are
weirdo.
I don't remember what
I forgot what you said now.
So that's only 5.
You missed out beans.
No, I thought I said beans, didn't I?
Did you say egg?
No, I didn't say egg.
Did you say black pudding?
No, because I don't like that either.
You rubbish. Did you say bacon?
Yes, but you could have more bacon and
Did
more.
Did you say gammon?
No, really gammon's a sort of an optional breakfast.
Did you say sausage?
Yeah, definitely said sausage.
Did you say beer?
I'm pretty sure that doesn't count as a breakfast meal.
No. Bread. I don't know. I can't think what the 9th thing would
be. It's you have to. Assuming it wasn't a typo and he didn't mean to put 9.
Yeah, if he didn't, we just gone off on a journey we didn't expect. You need to explain.
Tommy Bone says belly, sausage and baked bean pie, mashed potatoes and peas. Bench 135th Italeri SAS Commando Jeep onto FX 148 Merlin. Lots of stuff on both belly and bench.
Anders Ericsson says belly, diet day as usual on a Monday, shrimp salad for dinner. Bench, a diorama airfield base from Vallejo. TK's, you've said that he's having a salad. I need to catch up.
Yeah, but he amends his salad a bit further down. He says it's a bacon salad on bread.
You missed out the important bit, which was the bacon.
I think that just means it's a bacon sandwich.
It's a bacon with leaf.
But you're calling it a sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a salad. I like that. And the bacon sandwich is basically kebab when you think about it. Kind of, really. Dad's having faggots, mushy peas, and chips, and he puts chips in big capital letters for some reason. I don't quite know why.
Well, you kept talking about chips on your stream yesterday, and it made me want chips.
Is it me, or is every time we have Dad in the stream in the chat, he's always eating faggots?
I don't know about every time.
It seems to be. It's appeared in chat many times, eating brains faggots regularly.
Yeah.
Yes, they're nice. Don't get me wrong. This week I shall be mostly eating chicken, says Phil Lewis. Let's have a look. Eckle Pete says yes, it's the 6-wheeled Formula 1 car, the Tyrrell.
Right, yeah, well remembered.
It's the scale X-Trick car I always wished I had, but then I got a TR7 and it was even better. So there you go. But yeah, it's the 6-wheeled black JPS, if I remember rightly, 6-wheeled Formula 1 car. It's a really old kit, but it's a really, really nice kit. The one thing Tamir is well known for doing is things like Formula 1 cars and motorbikes. Even the old kits blow the pants off some of the modern kits. Trust me on that. Let's have a look. What else we got? Pizza and nothing, says Joseph Hodges.
Lemon curd sandwich, says Bob Salty Balls Bobbington.
Ooh, lemon curd. Ooh.
And Stephen Roll says, I like salad as long as it's wrapped in bacon.
Yeah. Oh. I wonder if there's a way to combine lemon curd and Marmite. No, there's not. I'm not going to go any further.
It's probably horrible.
Eh?
There probably is a way of combining it, but it will be vile.
Yeah, I mean, I've combined Marmite and chocolate and Nutella before now, and that was actually surprisingly pleasant. But
was that the one that you made Paul eat?
Yeah, and he thought it was terrible. But it's actually quite nice. There's always room for more bacon, says Anders Ericsson.
Yeah. Phil Lewis says, inside me, there's a thin man screaming, stop eating.
Inside me, there's a thin man going, oh.
Is it because you've eaten him?
Yeah. No, it's that because this is the thing. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the age of all our viewers. I know the age of some of our viewers. Some of them are very young. Some of them are really old. But it's one of those things that I've got to that point now because because I'm not running around in a day job. Years and years, for years and years and years, I worked in offices, sat at a desk doing this, typing. Then I got a more physical job for a few years, and that got me in shape. But now I'm back. Kind of my day job is sitting at a desk here or sitting at the workbench and not like doing anything physical. Everything's just kind of gone. It's just gone wrong, and I'm getting towards the 50 mark now, and it's like, yeah, everything's sort of. My middle-aged creep is doing a bit more than creeping. So yes, I always thought I'll always be skinny. I'll be
We're having suggestions for the breakfasts. We've got tomatoes, which we might not have mentioned. Hash browns, fried slice, mushrooms, black pudding.
Forgot hash browns. There we go.
Hash browns might be it. Yeah. Did we say tomato as well? Because you normally have a grilled tomato. That's probably it.
Did you mention? No, you didn't mention grilled tomato.
No, I don't think so.
Because you went on a rant about mushrooms because you're weird.
Because they're horrible.
They're not horrible. They're happy time foods.
Tiger Tank 2 says beer and cold pizza for breakfast. What's wrong with that? I don't like cold pizza.
That's on the Scottish menu.
I don't mind pizza if you reheat it, but I wouldn't have it cold.
I like it depends. Well, it does depend on the cheese that was used. Some pizzas are actually really nice the next day, including, even though I hate getting pizzas from a certain pizza chain named after a gaming piece that has many dots on it. Other pizza places are available. Even though those are stupidly overpriced and I wouldn't recommend buying them, they do taste nice the next day. Whereas my local takeaway that does a pizza for like £2.99, which is much cheaper, is really nice pizzas, but they don't taste nice the next day because they use like some cheap cheese that just becomes like a plate of it's like a tectonic plate the next day. It's like
it's Monday and faggot day, so yes, he probably does eat faggots every Monday.
Yeah, every Monday's faggot day. Brains faggots. I've had. I do apologise because the chat's just jumped. But I've had somebody offering to lend me their Xbox and offering to make me a modded Xbox.
That was a pair of Phil's. I noticed.
Oh, yeah. Phil says if you can pay the postage, I can send you. You can borrow my Xbox. Somebody else.
And Phil Ket just above that said, "Happy to build a modded Xbox for you."
I think Phil. I think I actually spoke to Phil on Facebook. I mean, it was just on a whim because I've been playing Halo: The Master Chief Collection on my modern Xbox, and it's a remaster, and the audio's not quite there. And I wanted to play the original with the original audio and the big old controller and get back into it because I used to love that game. And I thought, well, I'll get my old Xbox out and I'll play it and I'll get on my telly and get the surround sound going. And it was more of a whim. And when it didn't work, I'm like, oh, well, never mind. It was just a bit of fun. But I was debating whether to save up, over the next few months and get one of the modded ones that comes with like 10,000 games on it from all the different systems. But I probably would never use it.
You might whim again later.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I might whim again. I might
Nevbo Model making another mods in. He says, you can tell it's Monday. We're talking about food.
Yay. Hello, Nevbo. Yes, always. I think when I sent the blurb off to James, mate, today at eModels, it's the program where we just talk about food for 2 hours and then that's it.
Stephen Rolfe says, lemon curd, Angel Delight and Marmite. Awesome. Ooh. And toilet time shortly after.
Wait. Which Angel Delight though? Are we talking butterscotch or all the other flavors that no one likes? Because there's only one flavor of Angel Delight that you should eat.
It says bench. There's one there, but not looked yet. Hopefully finishing the cappuccino this week and get started on the new Tamiya Yamaha UVWXYZ 1000 Turbo.
UVWXYZ. That seems like a bit random.
It's not random.
Really make their motorbike the UVWXYZ.
I don't know. And Paul at Team Inept says, "You're middle-aged creep. Don't call Ted that." Ted's not middle-aged.
He's well past that. Speaker 8 says, "Belly, some weird cinnamon and raisin bread thing from the discount counter at the co-op. Other stores are available, which presumably was an Easter thing, but by heck, it's lovely. It was going to be a pot noodle, but yummy bread. You should stuff the pot noodle anyway." I had for my lunch yesterday, because I was doing a stream yesterday, I didn't have time. I wolfed down a green pot noodle, and I've got to tell you, because I ate it fast, I had like pot noodle burps for the next 6 hours, and it was glorious. Glorious. It was the gift that kept giving. It was like burp. Oh, that tasted really nice.
Nevo says, "I missed the beginning. What have you done with Ted?"
Ted, did we say at the beginning what he was doing?
We said he was very tired and old.
Well, you said he was very old. I just agreed. I still like Ted. Ted still likes me.
He won't be watching it. He'll be asleep.
Yeah, that's true. Ted had a was it Prince Charles?
Apparently, yes.
Where Ted is working now. He's working at the Boat Museum in Windermere.
Windermere new museum of boats and stuff.
Yeah, it's not just called the Boat Museum because that's a bit simple, but it's the new place that opened a couple of weeks ago. That's where Ted is doing his daily graft. And Prince Charles came to visit, so we had to go in at 4 a.m. this morning because they had all the police to do all the checks and stuff before. They had to go in at 4 a.m. this morning, and he's been there. And he got home and had his tea, and he's like, "Lads, oh, I'm 128 years old. I can't do a 12-hour day and then come on the telly." So yeah, so he's having a night off tonight because he's well deserved. He's been hanging out with the royals all day, so. And it was funny because, of course, he's an ex-copper, isn't he, Ted? So he was watching all the police do all the checks saying, yeah, I know exactly what they're doing. He was saying that last week, wasn't he?
Was he saying, like, no, you did that wrong? Go back and do it again.
Well, you didn't want to do that. Yeah. Have a look. What people say. Stefan Lass says, when I was a kid, many years ago, Mahoney, my mum used to bake her much-loved cinnamon buns. I used to eat them with some butter and Marmite. Actually delicious. Bit of sweet, bit of sour.
Yeah, Spruglu says Ted's working for the FBI, and then Sergeant Bones corrects him and says MI6 because he's British.
Skullfish is in. Skullfish.
Was it a museum for steamboats? Asked Anders. I assume they do all sorts of boating history.
I think it's a lot of it is history of the boating on Windermere, I think, but there's other things in there as well. It's history of the lake and the boating. I don't know. I'm making it out.
Mark Dale says, can you make the third option in store tonight? Some shiny red or yellow paint, please, or maybe some shiny gloss.
You'll find out what's going on in the what's in store.
Yeah, it's Ted's week for what's in store, and he's prepared a list which I shall read out later. Yes. So it's not our fault. It's all Ted's fault. So whatever may happen in whichever order, it's all Ted's fault. So Mark, don't blame us. We're only the messengers. FBI, says Frugler Edix. Floating Boats Inc. Don't know, all boats float. No, submarines aren't boats. Or, yeah,
submarines are boats.
They're boats, not ships.
Yeah, no, ships are big things.
Well, submarines are quite big.
Yeah, not as big as ships. I don't really know the difference between. I don't know why a submarine is a boat. If somebody naval in the chat could tell us.
Ships can carry boats, but boats can't carry ships or something. It's a lifeboat. It's not a life ship.
But you could put a smaller boat on a lifeboat because a lifeboat has a rib, which is a very small floatable boat.
So maybe they are ships as well.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because if you've got a fishing boat, I'm sure you could get a smaller boat and put it on the fishing boat, and it would technically, but it wouldn't be a ship.
It might be. It might have to be if you put a smaller boat on it.
But then what about like an exploration? That's a ship, isn't it? Like an exploration ship that has a deep sea diver. That's an exploration. Never mind. Yes.
Someone will tell us.
Frankie goes, Tommy always says, hi guys, food and Xbox stream tonight. Lol.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chicken McNuggets says he's having chicken McNuggets. I assume he just says chicken McNuggets, so I guess that's what he's eating.
Food. Beyond Hope says food. 2 slices of toast with proper butter. All over the bench. The parts for individual track links for an amusing hobby. Jad Panther 2. 5 pieces to 1 link. That sounds like quite a lot.
Yes, I would be pulling off my own face with my bare hands at that point.
I've not built anything with individual track links and things, but it sounds like it could be very relaxing, just sort of sitting there and putting bits together and repeating the same thing hundreds of times.
Stephen Rolfe says he had a pot noodle at work. Pot noodle burns at work in a meeting. I now have a new nickname. I guess he ate it too fast.
Pot noodle burns.
Oh yeah, pot noodle burns. Let's have a look. Windermere, Brian Momill says Windermere Jetty Museum of Boats, Steam and Stories.
I knew it was something to do with stories.
Yeah. TK says U-boot, so a boat. Yes, a submarine is a boat. They call it a boat. They don't call it a ship.
No, that'd be silly.
Yes. Smaller ships float and smaller ships float, but are called boats, says Mark Dale. There's
doesn't help.
There's logic there, but
Frankie asking you what happened with the tube of happiness. I don't know if I want to know about the tube of happiness.
the tube of what?
I don't know. No, it sounds a bit personal.
Do you mean my little tube of happiness? That's little. Do we do what's on your bench? We haven't answered that yet, have we?
We haven't. No. What have you been doing this week?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Then.
You go first.
I've been doing.
Lock it on you.
What have I been doing? I've been working on my personal little mouse. It's the 144 scale tank, which is quite big for a 144 scale tank.
Is that an Apple one? Because it's got one button.
Yeah. No, it's.
You see what I did there, mouse? Moving on.
So I've built it in. It's pretty easy to build these. I've got some tracks which I haven't painted yet, and the body which I've just painted. I don't go for historical accuracy because that's far too much like hard work. So I found a paint that I had, which was Middlestone, and it looks a similar colour to the box art. So I've done that. I've got to do the camo patterns on it and put the turret on and things like that. But then,
have you got the big tank hull to show people?
I have.
Where is it? Anybody who didn't see last week when he what scale? Those little tanks. They're the they're 1/100th, aren't they?
They're 144.
144 even.
They are mouse. They're called.
They're the little mouse tanks, which are huge tanks in reality.
This way, and I shall grab a Sherman tank,
which is to scale,
which is also 144. And that's the. Where can you see it there?
Up a bit. There you go.
That's the Sherman and the mouse, which is about twice the size, give or take. So these are pretty big tanks. However, I'll keep the Sherman here. The Rat is the big one, and it's that sort of size.
Again, that's still in scale with the Sherman.
Yeah, it's still 144 and hasn't got any. It's got a big turret with 2 guns on the front of it, and obviously massive tracks. Tracks are bigger than the actual entire Sherman, so that's going to be fun to build. It's not a difficult build. There's not lots of parts to it, but it's quite big and small at the same time, so it's going to be quite interesting. I haven't started that yet, but when I've done these as a little warm-up for it, then I shall get onto that. The other thing that I've been doing today, I'm doing the Terminator build, the half-scale Terminator T800, and some of that turned up today, so I built some of that. That's his upper arm, or one of his upper arms, rather. And previously, I think I showed it before, I've done the face. I've now got the lower jaw, which goes on it like that. So it's actually starting to come together and look like a tiny person.
I can't believe you didn't do the obligatory Al Jolson impression.
I'll be back.
No, I'll walk 1,000,000 miles for.
I wouldn't do that. It's strange. The lower jaw has been built with a central tooth. For some reason, they put one tooth in the middle and then either side, and it sort of goes together because there's a gap where they're sort of almost pointed, and it does actually look all right when it's together for some reason. But
is that how teeth work?
That's not how teeth work.
No, that's not how teeth work.
I'm not sure if that's how somebody's teeth work. I don't think Arnie's teeth work like that because obviously it's built on Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'm still debating whether or not to modify and cut out and do things with that. But whatever happens, happens.
Get Arnie to take a cast.
Yeah, I'll just nip over to California and ask him.
Yeah, just drop an email. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Can you just send me a modelling thing of your? Yeah,
I will do that for you now.
So, what have you been doing, Fox?
This week I have been mostly working on.
You're not clicked on me anymore because people want to see what you're doing.
I'll click on me. I have been working on mostly the tiny little U-boat. I'm not going to hold up to the camera because I've actually got. I think I've got a picture open anyway. Which I shall show you, which is here. Let me do a screen share. So let me do that, and then a bit of that. There you go. So that's where we're up to at the minute with the little tiny squidgy U-boat.
I especially like the fingerprint on the base.
Yes. The episode should be going up towards the middle of this week on the eModels channel. It's in early access at the moment, but it goes up on eModels this week. It's only like halfway done. All I've done so far is literally the base coat and some shading. I've not done any weathering on it yet. There's tons left to do, but we've got the basic colours down. I'm not going for super realistic. I'm going for slightly cartoony, but kind of a slightly realistic look. So not super realistic, but not just flat, simple colours and not cell shaded. It's cartoonish. So I'm going for a kind of mix and match. So right now we've just got this kind of two different sort of tones of grey. And the next episode that comes up on Thursday, I think it's Thursday this week, we'll show you how I've gone from basically just the primer to this. And it's all, the whole point of the episode is showing you that this is all brushwork. There's no airbrush on this at all. The only time I've used an airbrush on this kit is to put the primer on. And the only reason I've done that is because that's something you can do with the rattle gun. I'm doing it as an airbrush-free build. So this is all brushwork and dry brushing, and I'll show in the episode how you do that, because it's something I'm still teaching myself to do, to get a kind of, it's not really pre-shading, but it's sort of pre-shading. It's the same overall effect as pre-shading, but doing it as a post-shading and doing it with dry brushing. So I'm teaching myself and I'm getting better at it, but this is how I'm doing this. So yes, I'll be showing you how to do that. The reason there's a big thumbprint on there is I got some paint on my thumb. Somehow some paint got onto the base, and then as I'm handling the base, paint got on my thumb and then transferred itself to the U-boat, so I had a bit of touch up to do. I was like, oh, I hate when that happens. So that is that. I shall come back to here. The other thing I've been working on this week is just in my own time is I've been working on my Warhammer Chimera, which is at the moment I'm in the middle of doing all the paint chipping on it. So in the similar way to the U-boat, it's all brushwork. I've done the same kind of shading effect, so you can possibly see. I don't know if you can possibly see if I don't really want to zoom in, but I shall try. We have
press that button.
I'll press the other button. So it's got the same kind of shading effect there. So you've got the green and it was a black primer and then green shades dry brushed over the base green shade just to give it some variation. And then I've started doing the chipping. You can see there's some chipping on the side there and on the top. And it looks a bit harsh at the minute because I've only done one coat of chipping and there's no weathering on it yet. It's got tons of weathering to do on that. So that is coming along slowly but slowly. But that's what I've been on this week.
Cool. I've noticed some comments on there. Andrew Leary says, I watched the program on Discovery last week about the German mouse tank. It was big. I think the mouse tanks they did actually build. The rat is only not even a prototype. I think it was designed but not actually constructed. Yeah,
if I remember rightly, I think we said this last week, they made 2, I think, or 3 mouse tanks only as real prototypes. Now one is in Russia, in a museum in Russia somewhere, because it was fully built and worked, but I think there were a lot of problems with it. It never got past the prototype stage, I think.
Zensler says, if that's the mouse, how big's the cat?
Yeah.
And a couple of people said about the turret on the rat was from a battleship. Or yes, they decide when we build it, we'll just nick the turret from this and put it on there. So, yeah.
Yes, if I, that's the genesis of the tank, was basically sticking a cannon off a battleship so it could drive along. I think one of the problems they had with it was it kept with the mouse, not the rat, but the mouse that had a massive gun. Was that? I don't know what gun that was, but that was enormous, and that used to get stuck in all. That was one of the problems with it. It just used to disappear into the ground because it weighed billions of tons. So I don't think the rat would have really worked. I think it would have moved. I think the idea was it would move short distances. It was like a rail gun, but without rails.
Yeah, I think the idea is that it's very scary if you see that coming towards you, and you wouldn't want to think, "Oh, we'll just go and take that out." You'd run away. So
you kind of turn around and there'd be like an entire building coming towards you. And I mean, like a city block. You'd be like, "That bye."
Yeah, I'm just going to go over here. Mark says he's doing the Terminator as well, or he was, until he found out that the paper shop he gets it from isn't actually going to be ordering it in. Yeah, I mean, you need to tell them that you need it, and obviously they need to be able to get it for you, or subscribe to them directly, because then you get some free gifts like the gun. You get a half-scale gun for him, which is only available to subscribers. So that's what I'm doing that for.
Beyond Hope says Bovington Tank Museum has a rat on display in 1/72 scale, so that should be nice and big. Can you imagine a 1/35 rat kit? Imagine how many if it was a individual track links, you'd be there for months. There'd be more parts in the tracks than there are in most kits, I would think.
Yeah, well, I think the size of the rat is slightly bigger than the the 144 Dora that I've still got sitting in the cupboard over there.
Hmm.
I will be doing at some point. So if they did build it, it'd just be immensely huge.
Yeah. Well, is it the Landkreuzer?
Land cruiser, something. Yeah.
Basically, it just translates as it's a ship on the land. Basically, it's a land ship, which is kind of what they're building. It's just a ship that goes on land rather than in the sea. So, like a battleship. What else is the chat doing?
Yeah, talking about rat-only blueprints.
My mouse is wireless and works with 2 AAA, says Sprue Glue Addict. 128 millimeter gun on the mouse.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Sprue Glue says my mouse is wireless, works with 2 AA battery.
I just said exactly all those words. Literally just before you spoke.
Then you did one above it, and that confused me. So
the thing people need to realize is that when one of us is talking, the other one's probably reading comments and not paying attention at all to the other one. It's like,
sorry, what was that? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, when we do our own live streams, it's like we don't listen to what we say, so people ask us like, I don't know what we're talking about.
Lord Buckley III says, "Evening all. I forgot it's Monday. I'm getting old."
Evening all. Yeah, we've been talking about getting old.
Yeah, we
either get forgetful or wide. I'm not getting very forgetful. I've always been forgetful, so I'm just going wide.
Anders says, "I wonder if there are any roads built that could have carried the weight of a rat." Yeah, something to worry about, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they sort of thought to themselves. It's not going to go very far. Yeah, let's have a look.
It's got to be huge, and it would go over things. I mean, tanks wouldn't get in the way because they're actually smaller than the tread. So it's a good idea in that nothing's going to stop it. I mean, even small buildings are just going to go through and over and stuff. But yeah,
well, if you think how, like, just again with the size of the Sherman, that's 2 Shermans on top of each other is probably almost as tall as a house. So that thing would have just, if that was driving down my road right now, A, it would be as big as my road, and B, it would just be 6 times as high as all the houses and just spooge them into the ground, just dead. But it would also just go into the ground and disappear, basically.
Well, there's sinkholes, aren't they? There seem to be a lot of sinkholes happening around now.
Yeah.
Not locally, but you see them a lot in the news. So if it's something too big, it's just going to go, and then it's just going to end up falling down a hole.
Osric 9000 says, "I have mice and a rat in my freezer," and we'll end that conversation there. I'm going to guess he has some kind of amphibian or snake. I hope.
I mean, if you got a rat in your kitchen, what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, either that or he's a student and desperate for food. So I'm assuming it's a rat or a snake or an amphibian at some.
You wouldn't freeze them though, would you? If you
you want to keep, you don't want to eat them straight away, maybe.
Well, maybe you just break off a leg now and again or something. Yeah.
If it's for a snake, then yeah, tell me about the snake. I like snakes.
Yeah.
2 snakes. Tell us about the snakes. I want to know about the snakes. Snakes are cool.
I years ago met a snake in McDonald's. It was
cool.
in a backpack. It's really strange. I was in the queue behind him, and his backpack moved a little bit, and eventually we were talking, and he had a snake in it. It was like, oh, okay, we just sort of taking it out for a walk or something.
Cool.
It was really interesting.
I remember once at work, 2 different jobs I had. One of them I used to work for a cable TV company, and they had a guy come from Discovery Channel. He brought loads of animals we could interact with. So I was quite happily there with, like, pythons and stuff holding all these snakes. They were really nice. And then I was at work one day. We used to work when I was doing car detailing. We had a workshop nearby. This is in the middle of Britain's northern Manchester suburbia. And I was stood there one day, opened the shutter doors, and a slow worm just came out. I'm like, wow, that's cool. It's like a small snake kind of thing. I was like, oh. So I had to go and rescue it and put it away in the bushes because it was in the middle of an industrial car park, industrial estate. I'm like, yeah, you're getting rescued. So I had to go and rescue that. But I like snakes.
I don't know about in the wild. I think I'd be a bit more nervous of them in the wild because you don't know if they're going to be dangerous, venomous.
Well, in this country, it's just if it's an adder, you'd recognise an adder by the diamonds on its back. You avoid that. Other than that, it's harmless because it's only going to be a grass snake or a slow worm. So it'd be fairly cool. Lord
Barclays, he only just came in. He's got a question. He only came in to ask a question.
Yay.
And he might go away again. He says, "I have a question. I'm trying to..."
You make it sound like you want him to. That was terrible.
No, everybody's welcome to stay as long as they like.
And by the way, it's not wine, as somebody mentioned. It's fruit juice. It's Robinson's purple fruit juice.
Yeah, we'll find out when you get to the bottom of it.
I can't stand wine, so I couldn't drink a pint of it.
Anyway, Lord Barkley has a question. I'm trying to use MIG Scratches Effects chipping fluid. Tried using Citadel paint. Is it because it's water-based that it doesn't work? If so, what's the best paint?
The trick to using the MIG chipping fluid is that MIG don't tell you how to use their chipping fluid. That's the trick. I had to experiment. I found the best way to do it is make sure the paint underneath is all, fully cured. Make sure if it's acrylic paints underneath, make sure it's 24 hours. If you want to, you can put a varnish coat over them, gloss or matte, doesn't matter, to protect them. You can do that if you want to. It's kind of recommended if you want. What you want to do is you want to get the chipping fluid on the model, spray it on. You want to do it not too thin. You don't want to be too generous, but you don't want to be too thin. The thicker you do it, the more you put on, the different the size the chips will be. So a little bit of chipping might do very slight, fluid might do very slight chipping. A lot of chipping fluid might do more, bigger, or more numerous chips. Get the chipping fluid on there, then give it, say, 30 to 40 seconds, maybe a minute, with air from the airbrush just to flash it off. Then go over with your paint straight away. And then again, flash off the paint with the airbrush, just air from the airbrush for like 30 seconds to a minute, and then start to chip it. It may vary depending on what paints you use, but that's the way I found best to get it to work. Because if you some people like put chipping fluid on and leave it for half an hour a day or something. It's like, I just couldn't get it to work. But I found if I left the chipping fluid on, flashed it off, maybe, I think I did some tests. I could leave it for like 10 or 15 minutes sometime. It was all right. But get it on, flash it off, get the paint on, make the paint go on thin. You want a thin coat of paint, really thin, maybe a couple of misty coats or whatever the paint is, and then go in with, give that flash off and then go in. That seems to give you some good results. You can leave them a bit longer, like I say, and you get some different results. But the longer you leave the paint and the longer you leave the chipping fluid, the less effective the chipping will be. Because the way it works is the chipping fluid is like a varnish effect. It's like hairspray. It's the hairspray technique. It's just an acrylic varnish. And you get the chipping fluid down, you put paint over the top, and then you get a wet brush, stiff brush with water on it, and you get water on. You give the water maybe a few seconds just to soak in through the acrylic paint. The water soaks into the paint, reactivates the acrylic chipping fluid, and breaks it up. And what happens is the chipping fluid breaks up and takes the paint with it, and that's where the chips come in. You can do it with... It's best done with acrylics because acrylics are porous to water and the water needs to get through to the chipping fluid. That's how it works. You can do it with enamels if you do them very thinly and you're very quick. I did some sort of rusty, patchy effects by spraying on very thin enamel weathering, MIG weathering liquids like streaking grime. You can put streaking grime on over, make it very thin, just mist it over, and then you can get your wet cotton board or anything like that, and you can streak it over and do the same thing. It does work. It's a bit weird, but it does work. But if you're painting on a coat of paint, like an enamel, it wouldn't work because the water just would not go through the enamel. Same with lacquers. They'd be waterproof. The water wouldn't break through to the chipping fluid. It needs to get through the paint to break up the chipping fluid. So it's more a trick of the timing than anything else. Make sure you're using acrylics the best. And I found it could be different for the people. I found chipping fluid, 30 seconds of air drying, flash it off. Paint, 30 seconds of air drying, flash it off. Then go in with your waterness and work in small areas at a time. Because I've done it before where I've done a whole big model, put the chipping fluid on, done the paint, and by the time I've got to the start of the chipping, it's had too long to dry and it's a pain to get off. The most I would ever leave chipping fluid or the paint on top is about half an hour, because after that it does become a bit of a chore.
He does say that asking if you need to spray, not brush. It sounds like it might have been brush painting with it. So obviously, if you haven't got an airbrush, you can't flash it off, but you might need to leave it a little bit longer.
You can brush on the chipping fluid because all it means is that the more you put on, the thicker coat of chipping fluid. There's just the chipping fluid will still break down with water. It'll just come off in either bigger chunks or thicker chunks, or it'll take a bit longer to break down and take the paint with it. But if you're then brushing paint over the top, even if it's an acrylic, the water's got to get through that paint. And that's why ideally for that kind of effect, you really want to be airbrushing it because you want to get the paint super thin. It really is enough. You want to get enough paint on there to just color the surface, not to put a thick layer of paint, because it's all about getting the water through the paint into the chipping fluid and breaking it down. Which is why for many, many years before chipping fluids, people used to use hairspray because it's a lacquer hairspray, which is, it sounds weird because the water's getting in and breaking it up. It kind of doesn't really make any sense, but it's just the way it works. The kind of water breaks it down. It breaks up the paint and breaks down the. It's kind of hard to explain. It's chemistry, and I'm not a science.
It's all right. He's going to get the airbrush out, he says. So
yes, I'm not a chemistry science type person.
It's definitely the best way of doing it. There was some discussion as to whether or not he should be kicked out of the channel because he's been asking modelling questions.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think we'll let him off this once.
Yeah, but some people say sometimes, why should you bother with chipping fluids when you can just use hairspray? It's just a method of control. Chipping fluids are designed specifically for that task, so they'll be slightly different to hairspray. Hairspray works just fine, but it's not designed strictly for that task, so results may vary depending on the hairspray and how thick it is. Whereas a chipping fluid like the ammo stuff and the AK stuff, they're designed specifically for that purpose and that purpose alone. So they're designed to be, for example, more affected by water, easier to remove, that kind of thing. So you can use hairspray, but chipping fluid is just a bit better.
Andrew Leary says, anyway, TV time now. Anyone watching out good? And you're watching on. I've started watching on one of the Prime streaming things, The Mentalist.
Oh, I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, but never got into it. But then it was available, so I started watching it. It's quite good. It's basically a guy that is just very observant.
Is he like a forensic pathologist type? Forensic?
No, he's like he used to be like a faith healer type thing, but he got better. And now he helps the police. He's like a consultant for the CBI, which is some sort of like FBI sort of thing, but not.
Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, I think it might be California. I can't remember. It's Californian Bureau or something. Yeah, but yeah, he just sort of notices things and he's observant of everything and reads people very well and stuff like that. So it's all just sort of like he'll talk to somebody and he'll say, "Yeah, you're lying about that because you know about this." And
okay,
so it's quite intriguing. I'm halfway through the first season.
What am I watching at the minute? I'm still going through old series that I've watched before, things like Bones and stuff, that kind of stuff. New stuff, I'm watching Discovery, obviously, and The Orville. I'm enjoying both of those.
I've forgotten to catch up on both of those.
Yeah, I'm enjoying both. I'll have no fighting in the chat. They're both good. Other new things, not a lot really. No,
Stephen Rolfe says he's watching the OA. Weird but cool. I saw a first couple of episodes of the first season of that and just couldn't get into it, so I gave up.
What's the OA?
It's some alien sort of thing that I don't know. It was a year or two ago that I watched the first bit, but it was just strange. I couldn't get into it.
Stephen Rolfe says, going back to the hairspray, says never use any kind of chipping fluid. I usually use hairspray and salt. Not great, but what I'm used to and pretty easy. Yeah, salt's another way of doing chipping. There's lots of different methods to doing it. Chipping fluid is like a more recent, in the last 7 to 10 years, it's come out and it's just a bit more controllable than chipping fluid. But salt and hairspray. Somebody else mentioned Lord Barkley III says he bought some Trace M hairspray so he could use that. I got some cans of like 75p cheap as chips hairspray from my corner shop and it worked just as well.
Anders is asking you, would you say AK chipping fluid easier to work with than MIGs?
Not used it. I've only used the MIGs. I don't use them. I tend to brush paint my chipping. I tend not to do chipping effects. I have used the MIG stuff, but a handful of times. I know about it. I've just not had chance, occasion to use it very often. I tend to prefer. I'm just more comfortable brush painting my actual chipping on, which is weird. But it depends. It depends what you want. I like a more slightly cartoony feel to my paint chips because I don't tend to do super realistic. So,
Dave Cardboard has a deep and meaningful question. If I have a packet of crisps and a donut, what order should I eat them in?
We don't know the flavour of the donut.
Wait, I think you've got to have the donut first because the crisps are going to be in their packet. They're going to last longer.
Yeah, but but then there's the thing of, do you want the savoury thing first and then finish it off with the sweet thing, which seems more natural?
Or would you crumble your crisps up and put them on top of the donut?
Ooh. Yeah, what if it's a coffee donut and it's like cheese and onion crisp? Because I often have a cup of coffee if I'm eating crisps.
That's doable. Yeah.
Yeah. You could sprinkle them together.
It's back to the crisps in sandwiches thing, isn't it? It's a similar sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, bite of each as you go, says Stephen Rolfe.
Right, Sergeant Bones is waiting for season 4 of The Expanse.
Oh yes, I forgot about The Expanse.
I've watched. I really enjoyed the first season of that, and then found the second season difficult to get into. So I watched the first season again, and haven't gone back to it since. Really, so
it's good. Not only for having the woman with the throaty voice that I adore her as an actress. She's brilliant. I can't remember her name now. But also I like The Expanse. It's awesome stuff. Donut, savoury then sweet, says Pete Rogers.
Sprue Glue says Game of Thrones, 1 week to go. Yeah, the last season is going to be starting in a week or so, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll have to watch that when it comes out.
And Spid tells me it gets really intense when it gets to the whole Red John storyline. Yeah, I've just seen an episode that's starting that sort of. Well, they mentioned it, but it seems to be getting up on that. So
Robert Aitken says I don't watch TV. I agree. I don't watch TV. I have a TV in my room. It's there for gaming. Literally, that's it. And Amazon. I started working for a cable company in 1995. No, so 1997. And I was in that job for about 5 years. But from that point on, I kind of stopped watching TV because it was all trash. And nowadays, there's nothing. I'd much rather go online and use like the iPlayer or Amazon or something like that, where I can pick and choose what I want to watch. I don't have to sit through adverts. I don't have to sit through dross. I can just go, I like that. I want to watch that. I could survive without a TV, apart from I need something from my Xbox.
People are generally saying that they should have the crisps first.
Yeah, I would probably say crisps first. Robert Aitken says, my addiction is coffee, chocolate, and ice cream. Trained in patisserie, it helps the addiction. Yeah. Chocolate, coffee, chocolate, and ice cream. I agree with all of the three things you said there. They all go well into my face. As someone without a TV, you see a lot more TV than I do, says Asda. That's the thing, because I don't watch TV. The thing is, if I go downstairs and turn the telly on now, if you're not in the UK, you won't know this, but in the UK, you've got BBC, which is good science programs, some good documentaries, the rest of it is trash. You've got ITV, which is 100% trash. Channel 4, which is mouth-breathing trash. Channel 5, which is just not even worth thinking about. And then there's a million cable channels that are all just nonsense. So it's TV in this country it's like we're swamped with celebrity phone-in crap. It's horrible. It's just, there's nothing worth watching. And what is worth watching, you can find online on iPlayer and other things like Amazon and stuff. It's much better. It's much better.
Yeah. No adverts as well. No adverts as well when you're watching it online.
Unless you use the Channel 4 player, which I refuse to do because they have adverts in it.
I think, do they not only have an advert at the beginning or something now?
No, well, that wouldn't be so bad if they just had adverts at the beginning and then let you. But no, it's advert.
Really?
Advert, and it's like 3.5 minutes. It's like, no. So yes, I don't know. My dad used to work for Good Ad Television for like 40 years, and I'd hate ITV completely because it's just dross. There's nothing on that channel worth watching. It's terrible. Other channels. This is my personal opinion, obviously not the opinion of eModels. This is my. Take over, Chris. I'm getting grumpy.
Should I do the what's in store?
Yes,
if that's what time before Fox gets too stressed.
Right, who's buying option number 3 in the store?
Mark Dale. Mark Dale's the one that buys number 3 in all of them. So prepare your wallet. Do you want to lock it on me? Do your whole spinny, rotatey, draggy thing.
I shall not lock it on you then. Hang on,
because I like that.
Yes. If we're not doing a give. Oh yes, we are. Right, Chris is going to go through what's in store. Now remember, this is Ted's list. Ted sent us a list of all the things and told us what the theme was. I've already forgotten what it was. Oh no, I remember what it was. So this is Ted's list. So we can wash our hands of it. Now, there is the theme, and as always, what we do is we ask you to guess it. And whoever gets the theme, the first person to get the theme correct wins a big fat sticker. Now, keep in mind 2 things. First of all, when we do, I'll start that sentence again. Well, hang on. You know when your brain just stops?
No.
Okay, no, neither. I don't know. Anyway, yes, by now, at this point in the stream, there's a lag between the chat and the video. So before you go anywhere, you need to refresh your browser and drag the slider across to make sure you're up to date as much as possible. So refresh and drag. And then when Chris says go, when he's showing you everything that's in store, he'll say, what's the theme? Go. Don't answer before then. If you answer before Chris tells you to put your answer in chat, we'll just ignore your answer, and you probably told everybody else what the answer is by that point. So don't answer till we tell you to.
Yeah.
And keep in mind,
you can type your answer in, but just don't send it until I say go.
Because then you're just telling everybody else what you think the answer is, and that's dumb. And keep in mind, guys, with all these little chat giveaways, when you type your answer and it appears in your chat straight away, that's because it's gone from your keyboard to your monitor. It's gone that far. The chat doesn't actually look like that. The chat actually looks like the order that YouTube receives. Me and Chris see the chat differently. I see the chat differently because we see it exactly the way that YouTube gets it. So although yours appears straight away, it's still got to get to YouTube. So we go for the first person that gets the answer right. It may not match your chat on your PC, but don't worry, we got the right one. But I shall lock it on, Chris. So make sure to refresh your screen and drag the slider across to be up to date.
Indeed. I shall find the thing and share my application.
Yep. And wait till Chris says go when he asks you what the theme is.
So, right. Tonight's what's in store? I even clicked on the picture so you can see
quite ready and everything. Good girl.
Look. The first up is the Bell Kits 124th Volkswagen Polo World Rally Championship. See, I know what some of these letters mean.
You knew what those letters meant.
And 2016 is the number of it or something, I should think.
You have to look it up.
It's number 11 in the eModels store, so it's obviously they've had it a little while.
Do you want an embarrassing fact? The only reason I know what WRC stands for is because I think Tamir put it on one of the boxes of one of their kits 20 years ago. I know.
Oh, talking about embarrassing fact, you didn't do your fact of the day yet. We'll have to do that after.
Oh yes, don't let me forget.
We'll remember that. Remind Foxx later to do facts of the day before we go.
I've got a thinky fact of the day.
Oh dear. Yes, this is the 124th Polo. There's no other information other than that it's the Bell Kits 124th Volkswagen Polo. It's the winner of the Monte Carlo Rally, apparently. I'm assuming it's not as blurry in real life.
Yeah, comes with motion blur decals.
Yeah, so there we go. Night race parts included, though, and photo etch parts included.
I've heard a lot of buzz about the Bell Kits. It seems to be, I mean, to me and you, because we don't do shiny cars and things like that.
No.
To me and you, it's a new name on the block. But it may be one that's been around for a long time, but we don't do shiny cars, so it's not our experience area. But I'm hearing a lot of good things about Bell Kits lately.
It's not a bad price. I mean, 40 quid now for a kit is all right, isn't it?
Yes.
124th is a decent size. So
I don't know if it's a curbside kit or not. That's the one thing I have to say. I don't know if it's a curbside kit or if it's got an engine in there.
No, it doesn't say anything about any drivers or anything like that. So, right, second up, we have the Fly, another name that I'm not familiar with. 172nd Armstrong Whitworth Whitley Mark III. British medium bomber.
Things, didn't we, in the war?
It's impressively named, isn't it?
Armstrong Whitworth Whitley Mark III. I think you'll find.
The fact that they actually had two other versions of it and couldn't come up with a better name is slightly worrying.
Nowadays, we just call that the
Yeah, the AWW. Oh.
Mr. Armstrong Whitworth Whitley. How are you doing, sir? The devil, are you, sir?
Let's see if there's any information on that. No information on that at all. It's a Flyer 172nd Armstrong Whitworth Whitley Mark III.
Looks a bit like a Halifax or a Lancaster kind of. I don't know. Somebody in chat gave us the provenance. This it kind of looks like a Lancaster and a bit like a Halifax.
It's got that bit on the front that, the gunner thing on the front that looks a bit like it. Yeah.
Michael Jacobin says that's interesting. A Whitley, so I'm assuming it's not a common kit that you see a Whitley. And,
okay. No, not sure. So there we go. That's number 2. And the third item in this list.
Nevben Model Making says that the first rally car was a curbside kit.
Oh, right. Okay. Because he knows about these things. Number 3, back in stock.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. Surratt 135th Dora Railway gun.
Yeah. If you knew that this was in stock, you knew we were going to put this in here. If you don't know what this is, and if you don't know what this is, where have you been for the last 5 years? If you don't know what this is, it's the world's largest plastic model kit.
And that's a normal sized person standing next to it.
That's John. That's not John's normal size. It's a normal size kit. No, normal size kit. It's the world's largest plastic injection model kit. It's got over, is it 9,000 parts? I think it says in the description 9,000 parts.
It's over 3,000 parts.
3,000 parts. That's the one. It's made by Sora. It's actually a discontinued kit, and it was discontinued a few years ago. It's been discontinued for a while. I think the last printing of it was 2014. It's been discontinued since. What basically happens is every now and then one of them will come up somewhere. Pete Mate and Mrs. Pete Mate, who run eModels, they managed to find one still in the box and everything else that just appears from somewhere. And when they find them, they grab them. Now, we don't know how many they've got in stock. They might have one. Sometimes they get one or two. They are long out of print and they're hard to come by. So if you've been thinking about getting one of these and you've had, and you know, it's in your budget range because it's not a cheap kit. If you've been thinking about one of these and you want one, don't sit on your backside, because I mean, last time I went to eModels, that was last summer, and they had 3 in stock that sold out within a day. And now we've shown this, I can guarantee you, because we've done it before, the moment we show this on the stream, they go out of stock, and we don't know how many they have. So if you are tempted, it is a museum size. Trust me, when you get the what's the word? The big tube, the barrel. It looks like a drain pipe. It kind of probably isn't.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's 1/35. It's huge. It's massive. And yeah, if you've been looking for one of these, then don't sit around, because you never know when it'll come back in stock or if it will ever come back in stock, because they're getting rarer and rarer because they are no longer in print.
Yeah, I mean, it is an expensive kit, but it's also the size of, you know, a dozen normal kits.
Yes, I mean, well, I saw John lifting one into the back of a van packed up, and it was like his entire body weight was having to lift it. The thing is massive. It's like Chris says, it's a big price, but then it's an incredible kit. It's 3,000 parts. It's the size of, you know, a house. It's just massive. It is massive. So yeah, it's one of those special things, really.
Yeah, it's a very special thing.
Yep.
So that's the third thing. This is all part of the what's in store. So bear in mind, you should be paying attention and putting together a theme that all of these things fit into.
Yes.
Fourth thing we have is the a little bit cheaper, this one. The Zvezda 1 350th Christopher Columbus flagship Santa Maria, which is an boat.
Just to go back to the door, as Sprue Glue says, slap it in your Arctic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because it won't be able to fit in your basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one again doesn't tell us anything more on there. It's only the door that they tell you more stuff about by the looks of it. It's a snap kit, a snap fit, something it says there in Russian. That's why I can't read it.
Oh, Maria.
I don't do Russian very well, so
yeah.
You
could try it, but half the letters don't make any sense.
They're all backwards and things, so yeah, I won't do that. Model kit. That one says model kit, I expect. Made in Russia, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the Santa Maria.
Yeah. Sergeant Bones, when we show the door, he says, "We'll work for plastic, full slavery if needed." Michael Jackman says, "Will I ever have £720? Will the wife ever let me spend it?" No. Mark says, "I'd have one, but I only live in a 1-bed flat, and no way am I sleeping outside." Also, you'd never get it out if you moved house.
You don't have to sleep outside, because you can sleep in the box.
Yeah, it is a big box.
The penultimate item this week is Airfix's 172nd Avro Shackleton. Another plane. It's grey. It's a plane. There's not really now we've done the door. There's not much to say about anything else, really, is there?
They do love it when we flail and stuff we don't know. I will say though, if you've ever been to the Air and Space Museum in Manchester, they have a Shackleton there, and it's massive.
It looks nice again. It's got a nice looking plane to it, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't realise how big these things are until you stand right next to one, and you think, "Yeah, it's massive."
It's got lots of propellers.
It's actually in the museum, and it's there on the floor, and it's amazing how much they actually get in there. But I don't know how they got it into the Air and Space Museum, because it's like,
I'm assuming there are actually 2 sets of 3.
They have twin props on each engine.
So So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. When you stand next to it and look up, they're just massive. You can see inside the cockpit. You almost want to get inside it and go and have an explore inside. Zadster says it's not long since Shackleton came out of service. Yeah, they were kind of a lot of planes like that from post World War II. We're still
they do the job. Oh, decal like it. It's got lots of decals.
Oh yeah, no, it's not got thousands of decals.
No, not thousands, but some. So yeah, there we go. That's that one. And the last one tonight, another 350 boat. Another Z, so in fact with lots of Russian writing on it.
Mari. No, it's not that one.
The Francis Drake's flagship, the Golden Hind.
The Golden Butt.
Hind.
I know hind doesn't mean it's a kind of animal, but to me it just says the golden butt.
The golden butt. No, it doesn't. Yeah. So I think this is probably, well, it's definitely the widest spread of prices we've had on a what's in store.
Michael Jackman says a man who lives on a farm near Gatwick has 3 real Shackletons.
Oh.
Robert Aitken says try Siberian, it's harder than Russian.
No, I don't think I will. I'll nip back through them quickly just to give you a chance to pick up on anything you might have missed and got distracted by. We have.
Yeah, if you've already answered, we're ignoring your answer till
I can't even see the chat. I've got this over the top of the chat. I'm not even looking.
Yeah.
The Bell Kits Polo, the Flyer Armstrong Whitworth Whitley Mark III medium bomber, the Saw Art Dora railway gun, the one and only.
The one I know. We don't know how many they've got. Snap it up, slap it in.
It's not going to be lots, is it?
Slap it in your shipping container.
Yeah. And Zvezda's 1350th Christopher Columbus Santa Maria. And the FX 172nd Avro Shackleton. Is Avro's first name, or is that?
Avro was the company that made them.
Oh, right, okay. I was going to say, it sounds like a strange name.
Avro's not a person's name.
It could be.
It might be, I don't know. But Avro was the manufacturer.
It's Arvo in Australia, isn't it? What you do is Arvo. It's not Avro.
I don't know, bro. Probably eating
Have a Barbie. And the last one was another Zvezda 1350. Sir Francis Drake's flagship, the Golden Hind. If I can find the stop sharing button, I shall stop sharing. I shall get rid of the sharing window that I was using. I'll come back here and I shall say, watch the theme. Go.
Go.
Go. Go, go, go.
Gary Pashley says 100,000 rivets flying in close formation, aka the Shackleton.
Yeah, Equal Pete. Looks like Equal Pete's first one I can see.
Yep, Equal Pete's first in with Explorers. Different people did say that before then. But
did they? Oh, too soon.
Yep, we can't take any answers before he said.
Yeah, TK got it as well. You know, Sergeant Bone says, "Wow, even I get it."
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say it was me reading it out, but it was Ted that did it. So I've got to,
When Ted does it, everybody gets it. When I do it, it's like quantum mechanics or something. Nobody ever gets it. Yeah. So well done, Ickle Pete. You've won yourself a big fat sticker. So all you need to do is it's not as exposed as that. It's got less exposure. The white balance is better in real life. Just send a mail to ted@emodels.co.uk and say you won a big fat sticker, and we'll get one sent out to you.
Yay!
Happy days. Now remember, like we always say, and because Ted isn't here, so he didn't say it. We always say that with all those things, we don't know how many they've got in stock. So if any of those things tickled your fancy, like the big massive Dora, for example, just saying, any of those tickled your fancy, don't hang around till the end of the show, because you basically what you have to do, and my microphone's here, so I've got to do this. What you have to do, slap it in your basket. You have to slap it in your basket. They may only have one in stock of whatever you want. And if you put it in your basket and leave it to the end of the show, if somebody else orders it, they've gone. It's out your basket. It's gone. Until you paid for it, it's not yours. So don't hang around. If any of that tickled your fancy, get it in your basket. Get it checked out while you're watching the show. 2 tabs. Happy times. There you go. Done.
See, Andrew Guilford says he's got the 144 version of the Dora. I thought that was bad enough. I've got the 144 version of the Dora. I haven't built it yet, but I noticed it's by the same company. So it's interesting.
The 144 version of the Dora is in stock as well, by the way. But last time they had the big 135th one in stock, which is a legendary kit. It is a kind of legendary kit. They had 3 in stock. And I went in there one day when they had 1 in stock. And they've got this, if you go into the eModels, it's a working warehouse with a public counter. They've got this nice glass counter where you'll see like my Eagle and Ted's big MRAP, and you'll see Chris's motorbike and stuff. But behind the counter, they've got these shelves, and the standard warehouse shelves that are like, that what, about 2.5, 3 feet tall between shelves, and this thing just filled an entire shelf. It's huge. The box for it is massive.
I see Mark Dale has commented on his buying the third item.
Oh yeah.
He says, turns out the option 3 lottery novelty is worn off now. Mrs. D thought useless tools and a tank to be highly amusing, but even Ted may have found the limit now. I didn't know she could punch.
Yeah. Excuse me, love. Smack. That'll be a no then.
Yeah, no. I didn't think you were likely to, I must admit. We'll let you off this week.
Yeah, we knew we were going to include the Dora because we kind of have to. When the Dora comes into stock, it's such a you wouldn't think it, but it's such a high demand item. I mean, I can tell you that now because people will know it's in stock. You know, they put it on the front, but now we've put this on the stream. I can guarantee, like I said, by the end of the week, if however many they've got, they'll have gone. Because Pete Mate always tells us when they come in stock, they kind of go out almost as soon as they come in.
Yeah.
I don't think they've posted up on the Facebook page yet, so people probably don't know. So now we've said it.
Yeah, I noticed it appeared a couple of days ago, and I mentioned it to you two and said, "Look what's in store! Look!"
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it's still here today.
Yeah.
So yeah, but now it's definitely going to be gone.
The first time we ever mentioned one in a stream, me and Ted, back in those, it was just me and Ted. We did it kind of a joke. We thought we've got to mention the Dora, and it sold that night. It wasn't by anybody that was watching the stream, but because we had it that was watching the stream live, but somebody saw it on the stream. I want that bag gone. And every time we've done it since, Pete's like, "That's sold already. They've just gone."
Yeah, we should be on commission.
Yeah, we should be, especially something that big and expensive.
She
did just say she can bury me in the box, says Mark Dale.
Yeah, Osric says, I really want that Dora, but trying to save up for a house.
Dora's cheaper. I mean,
Michael Jackman says the Dora costs more than my rent. Yeah, but you have to pay your rent every month. This you could just buy once.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they'll let you slide for a month.
Spruglu says I pre-ordered my divorce papers just seconds before ordering the Dora.
Yes, ship them together, like on Amazon. Ship together. If a museum will buy it, I'll build it them for free, says Michael Jackman. Apparently, a lot of them are actually done for museums.
Yeah, well, they're not going to go into a normal house.
No, well, they do. I mean, but yeah, that's the only thing. That's why we always say if you fancy one, grab it, because they are out of print, and you never know when they'll find more. eModels do have their contacts that occasionally find one, and it's often things like, you know, it might be something like a retailer goes out of business and they've got one in stock, and therefore somebody snaps it up and it goes through the sales chain and ends up somewhere. So
or somebody's just bought one from eModels and their partner killed them, and then in the estate sale,
yeah, it's bequeathed back in the will. So they do come up occasionally, but you never know when or how many they've got, or even if there'll ever be any more. So anyway, yes, let's move away from Dora because we're just torturing people. Yes. I had a fact of the day that I forgot this morning.
Yes, fact of the day.
Even. Today, I'm going to move it so I can see it. Today, in 1796, Carl Friedrich Gauss, German mathematician, proved the quadratic reciprocity law, the ability to determine the solvability of any quadratic equation in modular arithmetic. Close that down now because it's a maths and I don't know any of what I just said.
Yeah, it's all to do with equations and stuff, isn't it? And quadrats.
I just wanted to say Friedrich. There you go. So Gauss, he of the Gauss thing, the German chap.
And Anders says it's the same Dora that's been passed on for years. Then
may well be. It may well be. May well be. Anders Ericsson says, "Yep, lost me, Fox."
Yeah.
It sounded good.
I understood many of the words,
just not what they all meant when combined.
Yeah, not all of them. Yeah. Let's not worry about that anymore then.
Right, we had before we go anywhere, we had a question in the email.
There was an actual question sent in. Yeah.
Yes.
If you have any questions that you would like to ask us, obviously email them in. Also, if you have a question that you want us to ask in relation for a sticker giveaway, mug giveaway, please let us have questions, because otherwise Fox will have to write numbers on his hands and things like that. And
ask you questions about Borderlands again or something.
It never ends well. So please send us a question or question and answer. And if we are to ask your question live on the internet telly, we'll give you a sticker as well. So if you want a sticker, give us a question, answer, and your address, and pin number, and no, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, don't do that,
just name.
Other
Is
scams
quite
are
useful. Name, question, answer, and address will be
Yeah.
useful, and we'll send you a sticker, and you'll say, "Look what I got just for asking a question."
Now, you might think we're a bit silly for saying, you know, include your question and your answer, but certain people, Dave, did once send us emails. Here's a question for tonight's show. Brilliant. What's the answer?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Bless him. Yes, we have a question that's just a normal question. Not a sticker giveaway question, so we'll do that first. Do you want to do the normal question, or do you want to do the sticker giveaway question in a bit?
I'll have a look. I've just opened my phone, and the last thing was me texting you to say, "Where are you?"
That's where I was.
We've got a question from mugs and stickers
Mark
as well
says
now.
there's
So
only one Dora in stock. I don't know how Mark knows that.
I don't know. Did you just try and order two?
Yeah, we do get asked quite often is when it's such in stock or how many have you got. We don't actually directly work for eModels. We do this out of our goodness of our hearts and our own time. So we don't know how many are in stock and stuff like that.
No, I can't see it being more than two. So probably one is quite likely.
I would say three at the very most. One is.
Mark says, "Yep, tried two."
Oh, right. It's good science. I like this.
Did you actually want to?
Mark Dale says, "Yeah, probate Dora." Hang on. Probate.
Yeah, it's not quite good. It's better than Probe 7.
People who don't watch me playing Elite Dangerous won't get that joke.
Right, so we have the actual question that somebody wants an answer to.
It's actually thinky question.
It's from Daniel O'Hara. He says, "Hello guys, I was looking for some advice, please. I like to build 1/24 car kits, and I have used Tamiya and Mr. Hobby aqueous acrylics. But as I airbrush in my bedroom, I would like to switch to a water-based acrylics. I was looking at the Army Painter Mega Paint set, as I would also like to start painting miniatures, and was wondering if they would airbrush okay if suitably thinned for my car models." Yeah, I would expect so. There, I've got one here.
Oh, here's one he prepared earlier.
I have indeed the Army Painter War Paints set, which has a red lid. So there, if we're missing Ted, we could put that there. Make you feel better.
Yeah.
I haven't actually tried airbrushing them yet, but they're not designed for airbrush, so they will need some thinning. I believe they're water-based. Yeah, they're water-based, so you can thin with your normal thinning material. They should be fine. I generally use the Vallejo Model Air, which don't need any thinning because they're designed out the bottle for airbrushes, and eModels have a big range of those in stock. I've also recently gone over to the Mecha Color, Vallejo Mecha Color Air, which again are put them straight in the airbrush, and you can brush paint them as well. The Mecha Colors are a thicker pigment; they cover really well. So if you say try the Army Painters by all means, but it does mean an extra level of having to thin them. But yeah, the Vallejo are again water-based, so they're nicer to use in a normal environment, shall we say?
Yeah. Most. I mean, the Mr. Hobby aqueous acrylics are actually water-based. Mr. Hobby acrylics are solvent-based, but aqueous colors are water-based anyway. But yeah, like Chris says, Vallejo. If you want the easiest experience, go for a paint that's designed for airbrush, which is Vallejo Air. They are just designed and thinned for the most part to just be sprayed straight out. You don't have to worry about thinning. Some of them you might have to thin a bit, but not too much. If you say you're spraying in your bedroom, it's something you have to think about. Is the last thing you want to spray. If you're in a house and you're sharing it with other people and animals, children, you don't want to be really spraying things like lacquers if you can avoid it. Just because even if you've got a really good spray booth and it sucks it out the window, things like lacquers and solvent-based paints, they're going to stink anyway. You can't get away from it. So yeah, you'll still get a little bit of a stink, and from the water-based acrylics, but a lot less. As long as you've got good ventilation, it might be worth, if you haven't got one, thinking about getting a little spray booth. You can pick them up for 70 or 80 quid. eModels have got the little ones in stock. There's a generic spray booth that I can tell you that most of us have got most people have it. I'm looking at mine now. They're all the same. I can't remember what it's called, but there's one. They have them in eModels, about 80 quid, and it's the generic spray proof.
Yeah, I think the style's changed slightly to the one that I've got sitting over behind me, but it's basically the same sort of thing. The edges are a little bit different now, but yeah, it's nice and easy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's good to go with the water-based paints, just purely from a household point of view. It's a little less stinky. They do dry a lot faster than some other paints as well, so they're kind of practical. I would say though, for the sake of ease, if you don't want to worry about thinning things, yeah, Vallejo Air Color. The Mecha colors need a little bit of thinning because they are quite dense, like Chris says. But yeah, you don't need to them much. Or any other water-based paints. You've got the Army Painter ones, which ideally, like Chris, has a brush painter, so they might not be so good. We have to thin them. You have Ammo by MIG, but I wouldn't recommend those for a starter if you're a beginner, because they're very finicky. You have to do them in a certain way. So I wouldn't necessarily say go for those straight out the bat. There's also Vallejo Game paints, and there's a ton of other ones out there. Yeah, you should have fun. If you're thinning them, though, for airbrushing, you can thin them with your regular Tamiya X20 thinners. They're absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's texting me.
Anders says, yay, the red lid's back. And Sprue Glue says, but the red lid is in focus. No, it's all wrong. I'm sorry. I could move it somewhere a bit different so it's not quite in focus, but yeah.
We have a question from TK.
Do we?
Yes.
That wasn't in chat.
He sent me a text, which was that noise text to tell me a message on Facebook. It's like phoning saying, I've sent you an email. He says, I may have a useful question for the stream. I have a clear canopy with huge gate marks. If you don't know, gate mark is when you cut something off the sprue and you get the little nub left and you trim the nub back, and normal stuff you just paint over. What is the best product to fill those in with? Gate marks are maybe partially visible in the clear bit when all is painted. Yeah, nothing. Well, not nothing. If you've got a canopy, most times the manufacturer has half a brain and puts the attachment points for the sprue where the canopy frame is. So all you do is snip it off, very carefully trim it down with your blade, try and avoid sanding if you can, and then it doesn't matter if you can see a visible scratchy bit because it's going to be painted over as a canopy frame. But you do sometimes get a gate mark where there's no actual frame. And I didn't know this, but some manufacturers actually give you canopies in 2 pieces. I'm like, what? Like down the middle, not like where there'd be a frame, but literally down the middle. I've seen it. It's like, really? Wow, that's dumb.
That's no.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can really do. You can without there's no real quick fix, is what I meant to say. When you've got clear parts, your only real option is to do as much as you can, shaving it away with a blade, a very, very sharp, clean, fresh blade. Get it as small as possible, and then you can sand them, but you have to basically, whereas normally you'd sand a nub down, you go for your coarse grade, then you just up the grit of the sanding paper over and over to get shiny plastic. You have to do more and more and more. You have to really get to the point where you're polishing it. You've sanded it through, whatever, say, start with an 800 grit, then 1200 grit, then 2000 grit, then 4000 grit, then 6000 grit, and you're working your way up to the point where you literally are polishing. And if you're lucky, that would actually end up just leaving you with the clear plastic that looks almost, you can't see the nub mark at all. It really is a case of just laboriously polishing and polishing and polishing. You may potentially want to use polishing compounds like the Tamiya ones, maybe. I don't know, though. I've never had to do that much. Or once you've got it as polished as much as you can, if you're going to be dipping your canopy in a gloss like a Pledge or any other kind of dipping product, that might also hide it. But if it's on a frame part, then you kind of covered it away because you painted the frame. But if it's not on the frame, you really are limited. The only real option is to just polish and polish and polish and polish and get more and more finer grit till you really are just trying to polish it to a glossy sheen so it's almost invisible. It's just a patience game with that, unfortunately.
TK does say in the chat, it's like 4 shallow holes in the part. Maybe gate mark wasn't the correct word.
And if you're filling
actually holes, then yeah, I don't know about filling them.
Yeah, there's not really much you can fill it with. You could try filling them with, say, something like micro crystal clear, which is a bit like pledge in a way, but it's a stodgy thing. It's a bit like PVA in a way, but you're not gonna make them invisible. There's not really a lot you can do, unfortunately. You can't really fill anything like that. Yeah, marks as ejector pin marks. Yeah, it sounds like ejector pin marks, and in that case, that's a really dumb place to put ejector pin marks.
Yeah, Sprue Glue's probably got the best idea. It says turn it into a crash, TK.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the option of see if there's an aftermarket canopy. There might be, but yeah, there's not a lot you can do, sadly, if it's ejector pin marks.
Mark has a question. He's got the Edroth Twiddy Pie. Got a purple nail varnish that's spot on. Now, how to thin it? Lacquer thinners? How do you thin nail varnish?
I would hazard a guess. I wouldn't know, but I would hazard a guess and say lacquer thinners. I'm gonna
probably. It sounds likely. If
try it. If I mean, you take nail varnish off with acetone, so they're probably going to be lacquer based. And I would say lacquer thinners. I have to say though, I've seen models sprayed with nail varnish, and they do look, especially things like candy colors for like hot rods, and they can look fantastic.
Yeah, but I don't know if they've thinned them.
Yeah, you have to, because
it have to be, but I don't know how they. Yeah,
you have to do a lot of practicing. You have to do a lot of test pieces. You can do it. You've got to really get the thinning ratio right, though. So have fun with it. Basically, do a lot of test pig pieces first.
Yeah,
but I have seen it done, and sometimes they can look fantastic. I'm going to not reboot, but refresh my screen because my microphone's being weird.
Okay.
So I'm going to drop out for a brief second, but the stream.
Make sure you come back. Don't leave me alone.
I will come back. Where's my button? There it is. Hang on a second. Back in a moment.
Right. Jamie's got a question. He says, I want to start airbrushing, but I don't have a big budget and my workbench is in a loft. There you go, I'm back now. What's the best way to do this? Have a word with eModels. You missed a question.
What was the question?
Jamie Bone's going to start airbrushing, doesn't have a big budget, and his workbench is in the loft. What's the best way? One of these portable booth things and an airbrush. Have a talk to the guys at eModels and tell them your budget and they'll suggest what you need and get you a kit that will get you started up.
Yeah. If you're lucky enough to have a loft with a window in it, like a dormer window or something like that, you've had loft conversion, then that little spray booth that Chris has got, I've got the same one, Ted's got the same one, everybody else, they all have different names, but they're all the same spray. It's a generic Chinese made spray booth that has a million different names, but they're always the same thing. It's a plastic box with a big tube that comes off the back, and the tube is what goes. You can either mount it into a hole on the wall. If you've not got any windows in the loft, you might want to maybe look at if you can get a hole put somewhere, either if you can in the roof, probably not recommended. It might be that you put a hole like a vent, like have a vent hole in the wall.
Yeah, like for a tumble dryer or something like that. You can get.
You might have one say, there's your loft, the roof, the ceiling, there's the loft floor, you're in the loft doing your bits. You might have, say, to do it so that the tube comes out through the floor and out through the wall, something like that. If you've got a dormer window, mine, I just open the window, pop the tube out and close the window a little bit, and it holds it in place. So you don't have to put a hole in your wall if you've got a little window, like a dormer window. What was the rest of the question?
That was all of the question, in fact.
Was he asking about the airbrush and compressor and stuff? Or was
no, he's just saying what. Just starting airbrushing. What's the best way to start?
Yeah, so I mean, you do want a spray booth in some form. A lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, you do want a spray booth." Ignore anyone that says you don't need a spray booth; they're an idiot. Ignore anyone that says you don't need a respirator; they're an idiot. You need something to suck the vapors out. Even if you're spraying, some people will say acrylic paints, they're water-based, they're harmless. No. If I pour a litre of water into your lungs, you're not going to be happy about it. So kind of ignore anyone that says you don't need to think about these things. You're spraying volatile organic chemicals in your house. You want to make sure that as well as the little particles of paint, there'll be vapors. You want to make sure they're all sucked out of wherever you are, especially in a loft. Keep in mind, you're in the loft. That's where all the heat goes. So it's going to be warm in there. So any vapors are going to sort of stick around. You want to suck them out through a spray booth. So have a spray booth. It's worth the investment. It's worth the investment. And get yourself a respirator. I can't get to it now, but I've got the 3M 3/4. I look like Bane when I do it. 3/4 mask. It's a proper 3/4 mask, and you have the replaceable filters. Don't just use a dust mask. because they just filter out dust. They don't filter out vapors and particulates. This is just getting his out, I think. I can't get to mine. They look cool. They look really cool. Nobody can tell what the hell you're saying. And they're a bit rubbish if you've got a beard, but you get used to it. But there you go. There's Chris.
Hello. You can still hear what somebody's saying, but it's all muffled and yeah.
I was hoping you'd say you were going to watch Gotham burn, but you missed that chance now.
I was born in the darkness.
It sounds so polite and twee. I was born in the darkness. But yeah, you do want to get a respirator. They're not massively expensive, but you need, if you're going to be airbrushing, you could just about get away with just a spray booth and a nice big window, but you don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk damaging your health. Even if it's water-based paints, it's still stuff in your lung. The only thing you want in your lungs is air.
Yeah, I'm quite fond of my lungs. I use them quite often. So
yeah. So you will get people that say, "Oh, it's only water-based paint." It's like, okay, well, you get lung cancer, and I'll be over here wearing a mask and not getting lung cancer then, or not dying of emphysema, because you're putting something in your lung that isn't air. So don't. There's just get yourself a, and that 3/4 mask that I've got, it's just a standard 3M 7000 series 3/4 mask. They're not massively expensive, they're like 30 quid. Standard 3M 7000 series is the mask I used to wear when I was in the body shop spraying real life cars. For
not the shop, the body shop.
Yeah, not the body shop where they do the beauty products. I'd be in a body shop spray painting an actual car for like 8 hours a day with the 3/4 mask and fine. And that's proper lacquer paint, industrial car paints. So you'll be more than safe with a proper respirator and a spray booth. It's worth it. It's worth it for your own health.
I was just having a look. Yeah, the same one that I've got there. eModels have got in stock at the moment for £27.54.
Yep. If you want me to, if I can find it. I can put a link in there. Oh, you're a mod. You can put a link in the chat.
I was just having a look, and
Dave Cardboard says the carriers. This is water-based paints. The carriers may be water-based, so the actual stuff that the paint's in, but the paint itself, the pigment, isn't water-based. So that's a good point. So people that say water-based paints, they're harmless. No, they'll still kill you if you inhale them constantly. At the end of the day, the best way to show it is go to your spray booth, spray some water-based acrylics for, say, an hour. I guarantee at the end of the day, you'll feel sick and you'll have a headache because you've inhaled nasty, nasty stuff. And that's how you know if you've got a respirator. The one way you know when you need to replace the filters is because you can smell whatever you're spraying. You go, oh, I can smell that. I need to get the filters out and replace them. So, yeah. And Zazda says, and don't lick the brush.
No.
Stefan Lass says, how often do you need to change the filters? Typically, probably every 3 to 6 months. But the golden rule of thumb is if you can smell what you're spraying, you need to change the filters. And keep in mind, if you buy a pack of filters and a second pack of filters as a spare, they have a shelf life. If you use these for a year, then there's no guarantee when you get the other ones out, they'll still be usable. So I tend to get a pack of filters. I tend to change them every 6 months. I don't use them a lot now. It can be 12 months. I maybe use them once a month now because I don't do a lot of spraying anymore. But if you're using it every single day, it might be like, 6 months down the line, you think, right, I need to change these. I'll order some more. So you order them and you get them, you open them. You don't have them sitting around waiting to be used 6 months down the line because they do expire. They do have a shelf life. TK says, also think of safety glasses. Paint particles collect in your eyes too. Yeah, you can do. That's probably a bit... That's a bit more than you need to do, but it doesn't help.
Depends how much you're spraying, really. If you're spending hours spraying, then you need to worry about things. But
yeah. If like me, you're spraying a full-size car in a body shop, then yeah, because it's everywhere. If I'm just at like half an hour spraying in a spray booth and it's going and I'm pointing the airbrush at the thing, then it's most of it. I mean, it doesn't do any harm. You can do if you want to. I wouldn't go as far as getting full face masks because that's like a bit overkill.
Not one of them bright orange suits and.
Yeah,
with the air tanks on the back, and
you sit there going, just making the noise because it doesn't actually do that.
No, it doesn't do that.
The one thing that I hate about those quarter face masks, though, and it drives me nuts. I don't know why, is that when you breathe in and out, there's a little tiny valve on the little tiny piece of like rubber, little circle of rubber on the valve for the filters, and it goes like that, and it makes a little popping noise, and I'm like, oh, it's so annoying. It's really, I don't know why, it's really annoying. Robert Aitken says my mask is a full face style.
He also says his spray booth is made out of plywood and the dimensions are length 8 foot, height 4 foot, depth 3 foot.
Wow, that's a big spray booth.
Yeah.
You could get a door in that. You could paint your door in there.
Probably. Just.
Robert Aitken says his mask is full face, but then he has got that massive spray booth that you could probably paint a car in. So, there's no harm in having a full face mask. It's just for what we do, it's probably a bit overkill, but there's no harm in being more safe than you need to be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. It's what works for you. But as long as you have a respirator, not just a dust mask. I see a lot of people that just wear B&Q dust masks. It's like, fine, you'll get lung cancer. Brilliant. If you're sanding resin, then you can wear a dust mask because you don't want to breathe those particles in. If you're painting or spraying anything, you want something that will deal with particulates and vapors. So when you're buying your filters, if you're doing it online, read the descriptions. When you buy any face masks, there's like 1 million different types of filters. So make sure you read them. They've got to be certified for particulates and vapors because you've got tiny particles of paint and you've got the VOCs, the volatile organic chemical vapors that you're trying to filter out. If you go to a place that sells them, like a 3M place, just say that you're doing it for spraying paint. They'll know what you need.
Indeed. Shall we give away mug type things and stuff like that?
We have some questions.
I saw there was at least a question. Is there more than one in there?
Do we have a question? No, I've just talked for half an hour. Do you want to a question?
Delete that one question. We have a question for giveaway question and a question for mug stickers. Thank you, guys. We'll keep some of them for next week.
Yeah. Peter Salter, we've got your sticker. Thank you. Email. Thank you. Keep in mind, by the way, with the stickers, it's Ted and I that send them out, and we live nowhere near our respective post offices, so we tend to get to the post office once a month, maybe once every couple of months. So we tend to get around to it at some point. Yeah, we tend to stockpile all the sticker winners and then do them all in one go. So if you've been waiting for a few weeks, you will get one. It just takes us a while to get round to, Ted's 150 years old, and I'm lazy, so it takes a while for us to. I'm just gonna be honest. It takes a while for us to get to the post office and post them out. So they will come out. If you win a mug, then we send that straight to the guys at eModels and they post it out to you because we don't do that, so you get them fast.
Yeah. What should we give away first then?
What would you like to give away? Big or small or mug?
I'm going to start with a mug because why not? I'm going to start mixing it up.
Oh, big time. That's just.
I'm going eModels mug style E, and I'm going to use the question that we got in first from Stephen Hill Harris. He says,
"Hair in my water." Sorry.
What in your water? What?
There's a hair in my water.
What, like a rabbit?
Yeah, it's like a really small rabbit. It could actually be a really tiny kangaroo. I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, you're not good on animals. So Stephen says, "Hi Ted, Foxx, Chris, and I, and that." Tonight's question concerns another hobby, shooting.
Okay.
Suspense. It's got building the suspense. Right. Assuming everybody has done the clicking and dragging and making sure.
Refresh your browser. Drag your slider. I can't wiggle my hand around. I spill.
No, we're wiggling. We're going to spill his rabbits all over the floor.
Refresh and drag to make sure you're up to date.
Yes. I'm sure you've refreshed and dragged by now. So we have a question from Stephen Hill Harris about shooting. So you might know the answer, you might not know the answer. Get your Google foo ready and get ready to find out the answer. I don't. Have you read this question, Foxx?
Not yet. Yeah.
Because you might know the answer. I think
Just to very quickly respond to Paul Tommaso. I've just got your email here. Hi Ted, another reminder. My wife and I are still waiting for our 2 big e-stickers. We've got it. We've got it here. We just haven't sent it out yet. We've got the one you sent on the whatever date that was, 25th of March. So we do have your email. We'll get them out to you when we do the next run.
Yep.
Sorry, carry on.
Right. The question is, actually, he starts with a statement.
Who's this from?
This is from Stephen Hill Harris.
Oh yes.
He says, one of my favourite rifles is the M1 Garand.
I have to say that's my favourite rifle as well.
He says, his question is, what calibre is the Garand? Go.
What calibre? And apparently it's a Garand.
Garand.
I heard somewhere it's a Garand because it's the guy's name. But everybody says Garand. It's my favourite. It's my favourite rifle, especially in any video game. It just sounds fantastic.
Well, you say especially in any video game. You've only seen them in video games, haven't you?
Well, I've not seen one in real life. But I have to say,
hang about. We're getting answers, and I've got to see. We've got got several different possible answers that he's given us.
Okay, we've got that.
I don't know about that one. That
First
might
one
be.
is. First one. We have to go off what we've been given.
I've got Jamie Bone, I think, is the first one I see there.
Yeah, Jamie Bone comes in with
3006.
3006. The answer we have is 30 cal, also acceptable, 3-inch or 3mm or 30-06.
0.3 inch.
0.3, yeah, 0.3 of an inch or 30-06.
So it might well be Osric 7.62mm. I don't know. I don't do maths. So no, the answers we have written down. It was Jamie, wasn't it? Jamie Bone one.
Yeah, Jamie Bone. Well done, Jamie.
So send us an email to ted@emodels.co.uk and we'll forward it on and get you a mug sent out from eModels.
Include obviously your name and address and say that you want a mug, and we'll forward that on to eModels to get that out to you. Yes,
Stephen didn't want a thing, so I'll delete that one. Yep.
Okay. The only thing that makes me sad about the M1 Garand, or Garand, however you want to pronounce it, is that if you play Medal of Honor Frontline on the Xbox or the PlayStation, it has a specific sound, which is fantastic.
And probably wrong.
Well, I don't know, because unfortunately I've never heard it sound like that anywhere else, but it sounds so good there that every time you play it, and it's not that sound, I get sad. So I downloaded at one point Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and I had to get rid of the default bang sound and replace it with the sound from Frontline, because it was like a two-part noise, like a. It needs to sound like that anyway. And also, the M1 Garand made Fallout 4 an imminently more playable game when I got the mod to get an M1 Garand.
Imminently.
Yes.
Imminently. Indeed. Yes. So, sticker?
Yes, we do. Let's do a big one and a little one.
Do the pair of stickers. You're
right, pair of stickers, aren't we?
You're a pair of stickers.
Yeah, we do it as a twofer. So whoever gets the question right, and that gets the answer right, he'll get the question right. Care about that. Whoever gets the answer right gets a couple of stickers. Right, a couple of stickers.
Eventually.
Yeah. Shall I do this one?
Yeah, sure.
What should be a real? Let's have a look.
What have we got?
Okay, this is a complete Google Foo question. If you don't know it, it wouldn't take long to find out. Are we ready? And I was about to joke earlier on saying that if I ask questions, it's going to be about whatever I'm interested in at the time, which is usually a video game. Here we go. Are we ready? What is the release date? This is from Phil Kett, by the way. Did he include name and address?
He doesn't want a sticker, apparently.
No. There you go, then. What is the release date for Borderlands 3? Go. What's the release date for Borderlands 3?
It says there seem to be quite a few gamers in chat, usually, and it's easy to Google.
Well, I thought that when I was doing my stream on Sunday and nobody knew what I was talking about, and it went down like Paul Di Tommaso is straight in with September 13. Well done. September 13th this year. Yay. Unless you're on PC, in which case, and you don't like the Epic Store, in which case April 2020, but we won't go there. Just get an Xbox. There you go. So well done. Who won that, Paul? Well done, Paul. Yeah. Send us another email saying you've won another pair of stickers. We do, if you've already, like in your case, you're already waiting for stickers that you emailed us earlier about. If we've got like 3 or 4 emails in the inbox saying you've won stickers, we'll send you 3 or 4 sets of stickers. So you've won 2 more. So pop us another email, say, hey, I've won 2 more stickers, and remind us I've got the email here from the 25th of March. So we'll do them all anyway. We treat the inbox as like the to-do list. So if you appear 5 times, you'll get 5 lots of stickers. That doesn't mean mail us 5 times for the same set of stickers though, because we tweet. We're not that stupid.
So yes, we are.
Send us an email. Well done. Gary Pashley says 7.62, 30 cal, 30-06 are all technically correct, same round, different names. Yeah, we just go off whatever answer we're given in the email. We don't do any research
we were quite impressed that he gave us 3 different options. So
yeah, we were actually. So we just, if it doesn't match what's in the email, it doesn't win. So this is why when we say send us a question answer, try and make sure the answer is accurate, or give us as many options as possible. Let's have a look.
Lord Bartley says the SLR is the best rifle. I don't know that one.
SLR, that's a kind of camera. No, M1 Garand, there you go. My favourite. I just love that sound. Go on, when the show's finished, go and Google Foo, the M1 Garand sound from Medal of Honor Frontline. It's just, I love that sound.
Well, you could try just Googling the M1 Garand sound.
No, because that might not be right.
But then that'll be right.
I did a whole comic strip based on the sound in the M1 go round in Medal of Honor Frontline. It generated a whole comic strip. It was a double-page strip and everything many years ago. I'm signing out, and we'll catch up with everyone next week, says Robert Aiken. Thank you for coming, Robert.
Good night.
Yeah,
we're not going to be far behind you, really. I think we're not done, aren't we?
Yeah. Gary Pashley says PC for life, consoles are for kids. Denied. I'll sit here on my sofa playing with my controller on my big telly. No, I don't care where I play a game. I use my PC for work, so I play on PC, but I've got one computer that's for work. So I'd much rather just play on console because I can do that and just sit with the big telly and not. There you go. But yes, I don't care where people play games. But yeah, M1 go round. Yeah. We did the mug, didn't we?
Yeah.
What we missed?
The stickers. You did your thing of the day, didn't you?
I did my quote.
You remember that?
Dave Cardboard says Foxx was the name Avoid Spikes, which was the name of my comic strip. Inspired by Tempest. Absolutely, it was, because it started off. It was meant to be a video games comic, and it kind of degraded into just nothing like that. But yes, it was a reference to Tempest. Nobody ever got that. Nobody ever got that until right now.
Tempest, the Atari video game.
Yeah, with the hand that used to go around like that. It used to say Avoid Spikes.
Oh, right. Okay.
My comic strip was called Avoid Spikes.
It was.
And nobody ever got that reference ever until right now when Dave Cardboard just said that. 10 points, 10 XP, Dave. Level up.
Yeah, but you stopped doing it like 5 years ago or something, didn't you?
Jamie Bone says, I already have a mug, so give it to the person who answered after me. Okay.
That was a while back. I don't know who that was. Or was that the person who answered before with the other number that was apparently right?
Let's find it now. Let's have a look.
How long ago was it? It wasn't that long ago.
I don't know. What was which question was it? Was it the size of the
3006?
Oh, right.
It wasn't. It was
the next person that got it right was Swinging Pig at 3006. In that case, I think. Yes, the next person was Swinging Pig at 3006. So Swinging Pig, well done. You've won yourself a mug. To Jamie. So Swinging Pig, send an email to ted@emodels.co.uk and just say you've won a mug, and we'll get that off to the eModels guys for you. I hope Swinging Pig's still watching. He's not like gone off on. So well done. You've won yourself a mug. Let's have a look what else is going on.
Mark Dale says, thanks, chaps. I'm away to remortgage for a Dora at a funeral. Catch you soon.
Not necessarily in that order, or probably in that order. Let's have a look. Michael Jackman, totally agree. Consoles are for kids, PCs are for grown-ups. That's nonsense. But we're not doing PC console wars in the chat.
No.
Everybody has their opinions. You're just all wrong. Only joking. Yep, so Swinging Pig says thanks, Jamie. So yeah, Swinging Pig, send us an email. ted@emodels.co.uk.
Yep. Michael Jackman says, try flying a 747 from London to New York on a console.
You couldn't fly it on a... Hey, I'll tell you what. Nothing gave me put the willies up me once, as I was flying to Tenerife one year, and I was on a whatever the plane was. It looks like one of them, you know, them Sprinter trains that go from town to town. They're like made of cheap plastic. It looks like one of them with wings on it inside, basically. And it was I can't remember the airline. It was not British Airways. It was something similar. Anyway, I was on that thing, and they had the telly playing with the film on. And it crashed, not the plane, but the system that was doing the in-flight and temp and everything else and all the video. And it didn't give us a blue screen of death. This is remember, this is like 1998. It didn't give a blue screen of death. It gave a guru message, which meant the entire computer system on the plane was being run on an Amiga. That's when I kind of started gripping my chair like this.
Well, it might just be the entertainment system that's running.
It was British Midland, it was. And I was like, I've got a guru. No, I don't know if anybody remembers that Amigas used to get a guru. It was called Guru Message, and it was called a Guru something. And it was like, that was the error screen, the blue screen of death on Amigas. I was like, wow, really? Wow, that's not also. That's not awesome. I don't know.
Right. Shall we call it a night?
It's a night.
It's a night. Good night,
yeah, we've
everybody.
had a couple of more emails come through. Cool beans. Yes, if you want something tonight, just pop us a mail through. If you've not mailed us already. There we go. Paul Tomaso's put his second one in.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yes, we do tend to pile them up and send them out. So like I say, it can take a while sometimes. Just because me and Ted live nowhere near.
Yeah, we haven't forgotten about you, but yeah,
we have them all in the inbox. If you didn't win a mug, by the way, tonight, if you weren't Swigging Pig and you want a mug, you can buy them in store. They are sold at cost, so whatever eModels pays for the mug, you pay exactly that. So if you're placing an order at eModels store, go and add a mug to it. They're pretty good value, only about £8.
And indeed, even if you're placing an order at eModels and you want a sticker, just ask them for a sticker. They'll track a sticker or two in a box for you as well.
Mark says it's an Amiga Guru Meditation error. That was it, Guru Meditation.
Really?
Like there's a thing balancing on the board. That's what I knew, something like that. Guru Meditation. Yeah, Zadster and Phil kept the same. One other thing as well. You might not know this, but eModels do an email newsletter. And it's not really a newsletter like, hey, let's talk about what's happening this month. It's not one of those. It's like an update. One came out, I think, yesterday or the day before with a whole list of stuff that was new in store. So if you want to keep an eye out and be updated when things come in store, just pop along to the website, emodels.co.uk. Scroll down to the bottom, and there's a little thing where you can put your email address in, and that will sign you up for the eModels newsletter. And it's just a good way of finding out when things come in stock. If you know something's coming soon, like if you go and try and pre-order something, you might see, oh, it's pre-order only, or it's due in stock. You'll get the notification by email saying, hey, all these things have just come in stock, and here's a big long list of stuff you didn't know we were going to stock. So do go and check it out. Or if you just register yourself on the website anyway with your name and address and stuff, you can select to receive updates and newsletters that way. So do check it out.
Absolutely, yes. And we'll be back here next week with a Ted, no doubt.
Sorry, I was reading something. Then.
We'll be back next week with Ted, probably.
Yes, hopefully.
He's going to be all rested up and back with us again. So
he'll have had a normal day at work next week.
And we'll make him do everything. We'll just sit here and make him do all the work.
4 a.m. just because some hoity-toity royals turning up. I'd be like, I don't care. I'm coming in at 9. I'm going home at 5. I don't care if some big royal posers turning up. There's no interest to me. Nonsense.
It's nice to meet the people, isn't it? You know,
just put the royals in a ship and send them out to sea. It's not relevant. Don't care.
They can't go out to sea. It's a lake.
No, just send them out to sea.
You push them out, and then they just get to the other side. It'd be all right.
Celebrities and royals are all nonsense as far as I'm concerned. I'm going grumpy old man again, aren't I? Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Viva the Republic.
All right.
Oh dear.
Everyone's saying thanks for the great show. Another great stream, says Phil Easton. Another great show. See you next time, says Paul. So yes, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. You've got the button, because otherwise we'll just be seated for a long time.
I wonder why you're kind of doing the winding up, and I'm like sitting there going la la la.
Well, I thought I'd give you time to find the right button with the mouse and get ready to click it.
Oh, it's just there. Yes, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for coming along. Don't forget, we'll be back next Monday. Like Chris says, hopefully with Ted in tow. But until then, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, if you fancy anything from what's in store, go make sure you slap it in your basket.
Yeah. Is the door still in stock? Have we looked?
I don't know. It might not be now. Should we check?
It might be gone.
Shall I check?
Go on. Go and have a look before we go.
I'll have a look now. Let's have a look now. Hang on.
Because we know there's not 2 of them.
eModels Dora the Explorer. 135th is still in stock.
Oh,
see, they may have more than one, but they may have it set to only allow you to order one at a time, because they may realize that nobody's going to order more than one. it's not fun.
Yeah, because if you did accidentally order 2, that not going to be a good thing.
Well, they might restrict it to 1 per order, because they might not want other retailers to order it from them. They are in demand, and they are hard to get. So nasty. So don't assume there's just one in stock. But yes, thanks everybody. Take care. We shall see you all next week.
Next week indeed. Yeah. Good night all. Bye.
It's me, Biz.